back to my channel. I'm Brandy, and today I'm going to be doing something that I sometimes do on the channel, and I haven't done in a while, but a lot of y'all have requested it, and that's kind of doing like a react slash breakdown of some shows and movies and things that I am getting into. And I did this for the last season of Arcane when it came out. I did kind of like every 3 episodes, I would kind of recap the episodes, point out things that I noticed, and then kind of give it my predictions of what I think is going to happen next. And because they are releasing each of these sections of episodes, the 3 episodes, like each week, I figured I'll do the same sort of formatting and then kind of try to get them out before the next chunk, so like I don't spoil anything. Before we get into the first 3 episodes, though, fellow reminder, I put up new videos here every single day at 4 p.m. Eastern, so if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. And I stream over on Twitch Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Come through for the late 9-5s. I haven't been playing as much League as I like, mostly because my chat hates it, but you can come through and chat with me about it, because I'm always down to talk League of Legends. But without further ado, let's get into the first 3 episodes of Arcane. Season 2 just dropped, and dude, it did not disappoint. What a precursor to this, I will be giving spoilers as I explain the things that I noticed in each episode and the things I'm excited for. So if you have not watched the first 3 episodes, I'm going to be telling you some big key moments that happen in them. So I'm going to just let that precursor be out now. But if you've already watched them, feel free to continue or come back to this after you've already watched it, and then we can talk about it. The first episode of this new season started off with a bang. Episode 1 is called Heavy is the Crown, which I'm going to first off start off with. I love the title of this episode because it is also the title of Linkin Park's new song, Heavy is the Crown. It's the song that they played for the world ceremony for the League of Legends World Tournament, for anybody that plays the League or watches LCS. So I loved that they incorporated that not only in the title, but it's also in the song is in the episode towards the end. Is not Emily, the singer of Linkin Park, singing it. I don't know who's singing it, but I do like that they at least put that in there, because I did a whole react to the song. I'll put it up here too if you haven't checked out the song in full. Highly recommend it. But just starting off with that, I love that they League of Legends and Linkin Park, 2 of my favorite things. I love it. So we started off very, very strong with this. The entire episode starts off with the capital is like getting attacked. They're doing this ceremony to talk about those that, you know, had passed in the finale of the previous season, and they're getting attacked by all of these people, and there's just this huge outroar of everyone just scattering, and the fighting is so cool, and it did introduce a lot of potential other champs, which is one of the main things that I've been looking at when watching Arcane, is trying to pinpoint other League of Legends champions, whether they're using the characters as from, you know, inspiration to make new characters, or they're directly pulling them from League and just plopping them in here, like, you know, Jace, Caitlyn, Vi, Jinx. Those are all already established characters, Victor, all of that. And then there's been a couple that they've kind of pulled in. So, like, from this first fight, there are these big, like, mech dudes fighting, and immediately my brain went to Nautilus. So I was like, okay, are these Nautilus? But then, rather than having, like, a big anchor, they had, like, a big chainsaw-looking type, like, spiked arm. So different designs, but definitely was giving me that feel. So for anyone who watched it, were you also thinking Nautilus? Because that's kind of where my brain was going. Main chick that is chasing down, like, Caitlyn and Jason stuff to fight them, that is from the ground, gives me like serious Singed vibes, and we also get slight hints of Swain. So I don't know if these characters are just inspired by them. Are we gonna get those actual characters later on? But those were also, I felt like, teasers in this first episode. One of the big highlights for me personally was Jace finally getting his hammer. We finally see, because he's been, you know, messing with the Hextech stuff, so we finally see that he gets his hammer, and I love that they had already shown how it can be, like, obviously a melee weapon, regular hammer, or that it shoots out, like, the Hextech, like, explosions, because that's just how it is in the game. So I was like, I love this. I'm loving the direction they're going with this, and that this is finally come to fruition because we get teased a lot of his hammer in the first season. We also, another big thing with this is Victor, because he like almost dies at the last season, he's put into this like hex tech like blob wall, and he awakens from that, which I you know, as of the end of the first episode, I didn't necessarily know what that was going to entail. Because obviously I know what Victor looks like in the game, and I'm waiting for how he's gonna get from where he is in Arcane to that like fully mech looking Victor. So we kind of got the first stages of that here, which I was very excited about. The last thing we got in this episode that I was excited for was Warwick teased at the end, heavily teased, and they slightly teased him a little bit in the first season. And Warwick is a character that I love playing as Warwick, as well as he's just like interesting as like a wolf character. So I'm very interested to see when he actually gets brought into this season, because they've been teasing him for quite a while. Next up, we had episode 2 that dropped, and episode 2 is called Watch It All Burn. This episode primarily takes place more so in the underground, as opposed to episode 1 was more so up in Piltover for the majority of it. And we didn't get any of Jinx really in episode 1. However, episode 2 is all about Jinx, all about kind of the aftermath that happens in the underground. And the biggest thing that got me excited for this episode is the introduction of Teemo, or what I think is going to be Teemo. Now, Teemo's a character that I've cosplayed. He's adorable, and I love him, and I hate him all at the same time. And clearly, the little boy that is introduced in this, it feels like he should be Teemo, but obviously Teemo's a Yordle, so I don't know if this little boy is going to turn into a Yordle. I don't know if they're changing the storyline for Teemo, and he's not going to be a Yordle, and he's just going to be a little kid. Or it's not Teemo at all, and it's a brand new character that just resembles Teemo, and they have like the hints of like the mushrooms and the Teemo poster on the wall, and that's just to give the illusion that this character is inspired by Teemo. I'm not totally sure, so I'm curious as to what you guys think there, and which direction that you think they're going with this, because I would really love Teemo to be his like cute little furry self, but I don't know if that's where they're going to take this character or not. We also get the guy that looks like Twitch, kind of. That's like the rat guy that they're all kind of fighting in this episode. And the more I looked at him, the more I kept feeling like it was definitely inspired by Twitch. But also Twitch doesn't have like mechanical like arms and legs and extendo legs like this guy does. So that kind of threw me for a loop, but that was another champion that I felt like was heavily, inspired this character and the way that they are. So we got a little bit of that. So that was another teaser champion we got in there. Echo finally meets Jace in this, and we get Heimer like sneaking Echo into the lab. And finally we kind of start piecing together the idea of the hex tech weapons are great, but there is a negative side effect of too much hex tech power, because that is obviously what is impacting what's going on in Echo's home down in Zaun. So we're kind of getting a little bit more of that storyline, and kind of understanding that overall everyone just wants to help for the greater good of their people. And hex tech, obviously Jace wants it to be a positive, but there are these negatives and it's impacting others. So it starts to bring up this like moral dilemma of, is Hextech really going to be better for the future? So that's kind of first brought in here, even though it's like teased a lot, and like Victor talks on it a lot in the like previous season, but it's more brought into fruition here. And then this episode ends once again with another huge teaser for Warwick. So I'm like, when are they going to bring him in? Because clearly they're leading into him being a huge part of this, or they wouldn't keep dropping these little teasers about him for literally 2 seasons now. Like, when is this all going to accumulate? I don't know if that's going to be what's brought to like the finale, or is he going to be in the next 3 episodes we get, and that's kind of the storyline there. I'm not totally sure. I don't know. I feel like he's going to be used as a weapon against Piltover, but I don't know who is going to be using Warwick as a weapon. So that's still to be decided and figured out. Then last up, we had episode 3, which is called Finally Got the Name Right, which is in reference to our girl Jinx. So we got a lot of Jinx, and this episode essentially is the fight we've been waiting for of Caitlyn and Vi teaming up and finally coming toe to toe with Jinx and fighting her. And the dilemma that Vi has of Jinx is her sister, and she wants to take her down because she sees that she's crazy, clearly. But it's also her sister and she loves her. So she's kind of battling with this, but also wants to side with Caitlyn. We finally get the Vi and Caitlyn like kissing and just being cute and shit together. Like we got hints of it in the first season and like little snippets, but we finally get our moment of them being together. I've been seeing it all over the internet. It's been like popping off everywhere, them kissing. So it's like, finally, we get what the people have been asking for. It's here. That finally happens in this episode. And then the thing that I really love too is Timo ends up, siding with Jinx and working with her. And as this whole fight is, happening, it looks bad for Jinx. And Timo ends up somehow saving the day and putting his neck on the line to protect Jinx. And like Timo literally hasn't even spoken yet. We don't have much about him yet to know anything, what his motivations are, who he's with. We don't even know if he's actually Timo or not yet. I'm just calling him that because it's easier for my brain. But we kind of get a little bit more of that, and I feel like that storyline is definitely going to be developed in the next 3 episodes. Because if you're just coming into this and you don't know Timo or who that is, you're probably just like, who is this kid? What is his purpose? Who even is this? So I definitely want to see that storyline developed more. One of the biggest things, aside from the fight with Vi and Jinx, is Amora is killed up in the Capitol. And that, if I recall properly, we don't really hear a lot about Amora other than, she's trying to work with the Capitol and the peace treaties and the this and that, and they're spiking with her. And then all of a sudden she's a witch and she's trying to murder people and they take her out and now they're like lying about it. A powder keg of just stuff exploding and leading to more and more things happening. And I'm like, I did not remember much about this character and now it's such a big deal. And all of a sudden everybody in Piltover is asking where she is when for the past 2 episodes nobody gave a shit where she was. I feel like they kind of sped up that storyline more to make her character more important when I was not paying attention to her at all before. So that was a very crucial thing that happened here, but it also it felt very sped up. I don't know if that's just my thoughts on it, but I'd love to know your opinions on that whole situation within this episode. And then a couple of, little cameos that I thought I saw. We have the ceremony towards the end that is giving Caitlyn her status or whatever in the Force. And there's a bunch of soldiers lined up and they all kind of look like Zed. I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but I thought they looked like Zed, so that was kind of another champion that was being brought into it, or at least the design of him. And again, the guy that's got the potions and the feathers, which is very similar to the character that we saw get killed in the first episode. I can't tell if they are a Swain or because they've got feathers, which makes me think Swain. But then they have the potions, which makes me think Singed. So I don't know the direction they're going there, or if it's just a brand new character that just has inspiration from these champions. So my brain was kind of trying to figure out who would they be bringing in. Because obviously, if they're Zoan or Piltover, they're bringing in a lot of Noxus references and characters as well. But we haven't seen nearly as many Noxus champions being introduced yet. So I'm curious as to where they're going. And then we have Yordle. So there's a lot. And there's so many more that I would love to see them introduce that they haven't touched on yet. The end of the episode teases Warwick. Again, another Warwick tease. And this time we get a full body Warwick looking at the end of this episode. So I know for sure I'm feeling because they ended these first 3 episodes introducing that and teasing Warwick so much, I think he's going to be crucial for the next 3 episodes. I don't know if he is going to be the glue to carry the rest of the season through, but I think the next 3 is definitely going to hone in on him being integrated and what his role overall is going to be in everything that's going on and like the fight between the underground and Piltover and such. But overall, these were a solid first 3 episodes. I think for Arcane having a break as long as it had, and for this also being the last season of, this version of Arcane, they really came out with a bang. And my mind was just like blown by so much of it. So I would love to talk more with you all. For those of you that did watch these episodes, which champion that they either teased or directly brought in was your favorite? And if you could bring any champion into the show from League of Legends, what would you want them to bring in? I would love to know. Please let me know your thoughts on like how I go about doing these videos, because we're going to have 2 more of them. But, let me know what you want to know more. Do you want me to give a full synopsis and then go into my thoughts? Do you want me to just go through my thoughts and give, what had the key moments in the episode? I don't necessarily know how I want to go about this series, but I do want to know what you guys think. As always, if you did like this, please give it a big thumbs up. It helps out so incredibly much. And I will catch y'all in the next episode. So until then, bye.